Okay, so we are 10 seconds in, and we're going to get started. Today I'm not going to have an additional camera showing what we're doing, because today is mostly going to be just focusing on a bit of simple coloring. I got new crayons of the Twistables variety. So we're going to revisit some of the pages that we had started before and we're not really able to finish because I didn't have enough colors. The reason why we're not doing the actual stream cam is because I will probably be pausing to type during it, because one of my friends is needing a bit of extra attention, but I didn't want to miss out on another stream. And at the same time, I can't just stay to do my stream later because I do have to start work at 10 p.m. Central, which 4 hours from now, and I don't plan for this stream to be more than an hour, but today has been a day of, oh look, let's find all of the extra things that Mason can be doing instead of doing what he'd wanted to today. Just before going to bed, right after I'd taken my sleep medicine, I got a message from a friend of mine going, "Mason, help, I've hurt myself. Can you bring me some Epsom salt so I can soak my foot?" And I'm like, I literally just took medicine that is going to knock me out here in about 15-ish minutes. I will bring it to you as soon as I wake up. So when I woke up, I went to get that. As I am leaving my house, I get a call from my elderly neighbor going, "Mason, can you come over here and fix my TV? Or can you have your spouse come over and fix my TV? I have not had TV in several days because it's not working." And she is in her mid to late 90s. TV is pretty much all she does. She's just old and tired, and so of course you don't want her to be devoid of the one little entertainment she really has. So I told her, hey, I'll see if other half can, but if not, I'll come over and poke at it. TV is not really my thing, but I might be able to fix it. So I get the medicine to my friend, come home, other half is like, no, I am not going over there to spend time around the little old lady who is racist and sexist and, spends all day watching Fox News. Nope. You can deal with it if you're going to. I don't think you even should, but, she's old, she needs help, and her daughter, who would normally be helping, is out of town. So yes, I'm absolutely going over there. I'm going to help her. My view on it is I would rather she gets a good example of the kind of people that the TV station she watches mostly, which is Fox News, disparages all the time, and see that no, we are not like what they try to say. And so I go over once I get home and take care of that. And then we were supposed to go out with the realtor today to look at houses, because we finally, that is a good news on my part, Friday we signed the paperwork. Our house will officially be sold on, I believe it's going to be the 15th of next month, but we've signed all the papers. It's pretty much just waiting on a few legal ease bits. We did get what we're asking for it, and they've agreed to a very generous leaseback, which means we will be paying them rent. until such time as we find a new place and move. There were offers that wanted to pay more but did not have that generous lease back, so that's why we went with this one. We actually, of the 10 offers received on the house in the course of the 1 week that the house was being shown, only 2, I think, were for less than the asking price. And I believe 3 were over the asking price. One of them, 2 by $7,000, and 1 by one had an escalation clause, so it would have been by $8,000 if we'd accepted that. But again, they did not have the lease back, which was kind of a vital part, because we don't know how long it's going to take before we can find a house that's big enough and that has everything we need. So having that lease back that goes month to month, where we just are like, okay, we pay you rent until we find another place. We'll let you know when we find another place, so we don't, and there's no lease that we can break, and they can't just go, nope, you're out, sorry, it's been too long, we agreed on all of that. It's fine. I'm kind of happy with who got the house. I would have, well, no, I knew it wasn't going to go to a family, because, it's not in a condition where, honestly, it is not in a livable condition. We make do as it stands, but we have at least one door that the frame is literally held on by string, butcher's twine, because the actual plaster and sheetrock behind it is so crumbled that you can't just put a nail into that door and have it close. You have to. You had to put the nails off to the sides, and then I had to tie the butcher's twine to those nails and just use that to hold it in place. There's a gap in the wall of the upper bathroom that is large enough that small animals, and I don't mean small animals like mice, I mean small animals like raccoons, which are not really that small, but they could fit because they compress their bodies fairly well. But there's a gap where if they get under the house, they can easily come right through that gap, and we open the bathroom door and oh look, there is a possum or raccoon or squirrel. And living in Oklahoma, where rabies is definitely a thing, that's kind of an issue. Now, do I think they would, given that rabies makes those animals hydrophobic? No. I don't think that's going to be a concern, but it's still something that, we've had to be dealing with. Just, if this were an apartment building or a rental property, and somebody was like, oh no, I'm going to rent this out to people, but if it were that case, then the people trying to rent it would be able to come back and go, no, this property is not livable. The only reason we're stuck living in it is because we bought it. And it wasn't in good condition when we bought it either. We were literally trying to preserve a property in my partner's family's name that had been so poorly cared for that when we got it, there was really nothing we could do. We thought we could. We were young, young. I think we were 24 or 25 when we moved in here. And the problem was, at the time, I was also dealing with severe untreated depression. And my partner was dealing with severe untreated depression. And the depression left me with, like, zero energy to do things. And I'm the one who's the handyman of the pair of us. I mean, I just am. Like, my parents, for the longest time, would get him cookbooks, or him, like, tools for Christmas, and me, cookbooks. And they finally stopped that one year when they'd given him a ratchet set, and they'd given me a cookbook specific for gas-powered stoves, which I don't like cooking as it is, but I hate cooking with gas because I don't have the skill set to control the gas burner. Like, my partner's like, oh, it's so much easier to control temperatures on gas, and I'm like, no. I'm just gonna crank the dial to 6 or 9, depending on what I'm cooking, on an electric burner, and that's it. Like, if we move into a house that has an electric stove, or a gas stove, I'm gonna be picking up an electric hot plate for me to use specifically. Because I do not have the patience to fuck with gas. I just don't. So, but yeah, they'd given me a cookbook that was recipes. I think it was called the Blue Flame Cookbook. So it was specific to cooking on gas. I think at the time we weren't. We were living here then. I was going to say, I think at the time we were living somewhere that did have a gas stove, because there was a brief period when we were in the student apartments that did have a gas stove, which meant I only ever cooked in the oven. I never did anything on the stovetop. I did discover that I could roast marshmallows on the stovetop, but that was about the entirety of my cooking with gas. Anyhow, but they gave me that, and they gave a ratchet set to him, and I looked up and went, honey, I think they accidentally put my name on your gift and your name on mine. And handed him the cookbook, and he got all excited, and I immediately started playing around with the ratchet set. And from then on, my parents just they don't give us gifts that are cookbooks or tools anymore. They just don't. Which is good, because frankly, I have mostly the tools I need. If I need something that I don't have, I can either rent it or buy it as needed, depending on what it is, or borrow it, because I have friends who have plenty of tools that I don't. So I just assume that they not give me tools at all. And given that I'm dreading packing the collection of cookbooks that we have, I don't really want him getting more. I've already said, once we're done moving, this is it. We are never moving again. Because I moved so much as a kid, and as a teenager. I moved and moved and moved just constantly. We moved at least once a year when I was in high school. And I hated it then. And then we ended up, when I was in college, also moving quite a bit. because I spent a summer homeless. Now, it was not the I'm living on the streets type of homeless. It was the couch surfing type of homeless, where I went from friend's house to friend's house, stayed on their couch, that kind. Um, and then I always add that caveat, by the way, because I know that growing up, I didn't realize that that was considered being homeless when you were having to do that. Um, but yeah, it is if you're not actually on a lease of any sort. It's a form of homelessness because it could at any point change. And it does increase stress levels, but it's definitely not the same as living on the street where so much can happen to you. I've known plenty of people who were living on the streets homeless. And honestly, the idea of that happening, I know I would find a way to get by, but for me it's terrifying. That's a big part of why the leaseback was such an important thing when we sold this house, was making certain that if something fell through and we could not buy another house right away, we wouldn't be on the streets, because I don't want my kids to deal with that. I really don't. I've been there. I never want to do it again. And that's a big part of why I have opened my house up so many times to so many people, is because I've been there. I've done that. I don't want to do that again. And I don't want to see others having to do it. It's hard on a person. And, again, being actually on the streets is definitely harder, but it's still that insecurity, that fear definitely has a effect physically and psychologically for those having to deal with it. I have been talking to my other half, and maybe once the move is squared away and we've taken care of getting the new place and everything is done with that, we're talking about seeing if I can find a way that I can take classes. Of course, we would have to pay for them out of pocket, but if I could take classes to get at least a license to counsel or something of that nature. I'm actually thinking of, again, a career switch, because I particularly want to work with LGBT youth who have been disowned, who are suffering from the slings and arrows of families that do not understand, that will not understand. All colored now. I do want to try as much as possible. My partner knows that it's been a dream of mine since at least college to open up a kind of a halfway house to give kids that are in those situations a chance to have a better life. And so, if that's a possibility, great. But if it's not, okay, that's fine too. But I'd like to at least give it a shot. Okay. Okay, so that's one of them done. I just tried to pop open the additional camera that I have attached to my computer, and it's like, nope, nope, you've got one camera already going, and a program's using it, so we can't close it, so, nope, you're stuck with that one. So, okay, I guess we're going to have to do the washed out camera for a bit. Anyhow. Yeah, house has been sold. We're looking at other properties now to buy. We found one, and it was big enough, which is the big thing we're needing. However, it's in an area of the state where it's a small town. I mean, small is relative, but I've been living in the second largest city in the state for 16 years. I do not want to go back to a small town. I do not like small towns. I had enough of those as a teenager. I don't want to do it again. So, the big thing that is the biggest detractor is it would not have access to the very nice fiber optic internet that we currently have through my partner's work, which they literally, for employees, just lowered the price on it. We were paying $40 a month, now we're paying $8. And that's with the taxes and stuff. And given that my partner and I both work from home, we kind of have to have really good internet. Now, me, I time my work hours to when the least people are using said internet. Because my partner and my kids all go to bed right about when I start work. My roommate is awake, but that might be changing soon too, since now it looks like he's getting a job, which good. I mean, he's needed one for a while. We've just not had as many options for him, given that, up until the pandemic started, their work from home was generally a very reserved position. Things like that. But with work from home being a very common one, he just applied for the same company I actually work for, but working on a different line group. And so he has an interview lined up this week, and who knows when he will be working, what his work hours are. If they turn out to coincide with mine, that's fine, because we can both work. All through training, I worked at the same time when my partner was, and even, at one point the twins were on their spring break. Oh, thank you, Thousand Young, for that wonderful raid. We are doing just coloring today, and of course, the camera that is on is the one that washes everything out, so you guys don't really get to see me adding the colors to the picture. Mostly we're just talking about the fact that, the house sale and stuff that we've been dealing with here. But thank you for everyone joining me. Hello, hello. Anyway, yeah, working from home, we kind of do have to find a place that does have the option of that fiber optic internet, because, with 2 and soon 3 people working from home, we can't afford to be throttled, frankly. So that's actually one consideration. The house that we looked at most recently that my partner really, really wanted and really, really liked, and it was a nice house if it weren't in a small town, well, small. Again, it seems small to me because it is very small compared to the city I've been living in for the past 16 years. Compared to the small towns I grew up around, it's actually a city. But yeah, it since it doesn't offer that internet, we're going to have to pass on that, I think. And so we were supposed to be looking at houses today with the realtor, but it turns out that the properties we really wanted to see, for some odd reason, don't have showings available on uh, on weekends, which is very odd. Weekends are generally the best time to do showings. And then Monday, that's when my realtor that I'm working with has all of his special like meetings and things that he has to do, and so he's not available Monday. Tuesday, my partner is he's been working really hard to do this marriage ceremony with a character in Final Fantasy, and they finally got everything put together, all of the money or Gil saved up, and they're doing that on Tuesday. So I'm like, okay, we'll just schedule the next viewings for Wednesday. So that's how that is. I am going to have to be changing up my streaming schedule. Currently, for those who have been watching my stream for a while, you might have noticed that I did not stream on Thursday, which is my normal gaming stream. And the reason I didn't was we had to be out of the house to let people view our property before they finally, were able to we were finally able to make the sale. And originally we were supposed to be back by X time, but then we got a message from the realtor, hey, more showings ended up being scheduled after our last plan. So first it was, you need to be out between 3 p.m. and 5 p.m. Okay, we could do that. Then it became, oh, actually, we need you to be out between 3 p.m. and 6:30 p.m. Okay, we can do that. I check back about 6, and he says, oh, yeah, actually, we need you to be out between 6:30 and 8:45. And I'm like, okay, so we're just going to be gone the whole evening. By the time we got home, I had less than an hour until I needed to start work, so no stream. As it is, tonight's stream is going to be very short. I just finished up that second of the pictures that, which is funny because the first one is actually the same image, but with the roles reversed. Now that I think about it. Because the first one is sloth with a llama puppet. Second one is llama with a sloth puppet. And that's the two we've worked on previously. So, yeah, today, like I said, had to go and take a friend medicine when I wasn't planning to. Then had to go fix my neighbor's TV when I wasn't planning to. I'm trying to get the stream done before I have to be giving my cat medicine today, and then I've got another friend who is going to be streaming. He's trying for Twitch affiliate. Please feel free to watch him. His name is Intoxable on Twitch. He is he primarily does horror games and things of that nature, and he will be starting at 7:30 Central Time, so about an hour from now. And in the time up until he starts, I have to get the plants watered, and the cat medicated, and all sorts of different things, so I think I am probably going to be cutting the stream very short today. Normally I try for an hour, but I think today 30 minutes is going to be the max. So I do want to thank those who came out. I am probably going to try to continue doing crafting streams on Sundays. The gaming stream, however, which had been happening in the middle of the night on Wednesdays. Sorry. Had been happening in the middle of the night between Wednesday and Thursday, around 2 a.m. on Thursdays. That will either move to Thursday afternoons before I start work, or middle of the night between Friday and Saturday. Because my current work schedule is 10 p.m. till 10 p.m. Central to 6:30 a.m. Central on Sunday night, Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday night, Thursday night. So yeah, there is, because of that work schedule, I do have to change from doing the middle of the night stream on Thursday, and it'll either, like I said, be an afternoon stream, or it will be a middle of the night stream Friday night leading into Saturday. I prefer to keep it the middle of the night, but at the same time, Friday nights I already do a Zoom meeting. Also, I might be, once we've moved, I might have kind of signed myself up to teach crochet to teenagers and adults at the local library. So that might end up being a 2-day-a-week thing. We'll have to see. Otherwise, though, I do want to thank those who came out to view the stream. I do want to thank Thousand Young for the raid, and I hope that everyone has a great rest of your week. Take care of yourself, take care of each other, and I'll see you whenever I end up getting to the Thursday gaming stream, which is the final week fright, so it'll be Secret World Legends. Alright, have a good one, guys.